Yo, what is up, y'all? Dubsmart here, and today we are doing the preview video against 76ers. Got some news today, some general NBA news too, so let's just get into it. So, De'Anthony Melton's first season debut against old team. So De'Anthony Melton's finally gonna be back. Yeah, so Seth Curry made an impressive debut. By the way, that OKC game was insane. Like, I know how I made that video where I was like, oh dude, we're probably not gonna do anything well, so that's why I made the video so quick. Damn, they did some stuff, and Seth's performance was unreal. And people who was gonna be like, also like, pod sucks or whatever because of like the end of the game, he was the main reason why we were even in that game in the first place. He was the only scorer that we had in the first quarter, okay? And he didn't even play that bad of a game overall. I don't want to hear it, honestly. I'm not against trading him per se, but I just think, again, the hate is too much, and he's still a solid NBA player. But anyways, yeah, Seth's performance was Seth's performance was super impressive, though, because of the fact he missed, similar to Melton, he missed a ton of basketball. Like, not necessarily, obviously, because of injury, but he just missed basketball. And he comes in, shoots like 14 points with like three threes or something like that. It was insane. But yeah, so Melton was signed by the Warriors in the summer 2024 to complement Steph Curry. His combination of defense, ball handling ability, and three-point shooting made him an ideal backcourt running mate to Curry. And Brandon Jennings can play off ball, which is the most exciting part for me, is because I think Paz can play much better now with Melton, just because Melton really is good at the ball handling duties again. He's coming off an ACL injury, so we'll see how good he is. But again, with a brief time with his team, the Warriors had a 10.9 plus net rating when Melton was on the court, and Steve Kerr will likely be cautious with Melton to start, and we still have a plethora of guards to cover backcourt minutes. Yeah, there's no like real Twitter posts that are, because I'm recording this like a few hours before the game, and it doesn't seem like there's anything about specifics about Melton's playing time. So again, not much to talk about there, but he's back today, so I'm excited to see it. And then also Giannis. This is the general NBA news, the Giannis news that everyone's been seeing. Obviously, CP3 ones was also crazy, but that affects us less, so I'm not covering it for this video. And like, I feel like everyone and their dad already saw that news. Giannis one probably the same too, but again, this one's more related to us. So Giannis is talking with his agent, with the franchise, about the future with him, with Milwaukee and stuff. Again, I don't think this necessarily indicates a trade per se. Again, the fact that they're doing this whole conversation can lead to that. But again, who knows? Like, maybe the conversation is, can we trade the other players on the Bucks so Giannis can be better complemented? I don't know. Again, we never know what the talk is. I feel like we every year we get a news about Giannis wanting out, or not necessarily wanting out, but Giannis trades, and like Giannis being dissatisfied, quote unquote, with the franchise, which he might be. I don't know. Personally, I think he's, like I've seen with what other people are saying, is that he's trying to find a reason and an excuse to not leave the Milwaukee, because he really loves it there. But he's obviously starting to realize, like, with the offloading of Damian Lillard's contract and the way the franchise has moved in these recent years, that he's probably not going to win a ring, most likely, in Milwaukee anymore, after that first one. So he's trying to see which path he wants to take. Does he want to stay loyal with Milwaukee, which is probably what he wants to do, or does he want to win a championship? And there's no slight to him because he's already a champion, so I don't really think that's a bad thing. But again, I think that's the reason why he's just been staying on this team, because he's just trying to find every little excuse to stay on the team. Because then, like, you could say that the team at least tried in terms of, like, getting someone like Miles Turner or trading for Damian Lillard a few years back and stuff like that. So again, that's why I don't expect him to be traded even this season. Again, I might be completely wrong. And I think once the trade rumors actually once trading for Giannis becomes an actual conversation, I think we'll get a separate report from this that will talk about that. So at least in my eyes, I think we're probably not going to get one for a little while. And so I'm just going to pop to this one. So let's see what the trade they got. Draymond, Jonathan, Buddy Hield, and 4 first-round picks. But the 2030 is protected if 1 through 20. But wouldn't it be like if it's top 20 protected, technically, if it is 1 through 20, it would go to the Warriors though, right? So I don't know, but 4 first-round picks essentially. Milwaukee could give Kuminga plenty of runway to see as a long-term keeper and reroute Green, a proven winner and still a lead defender, to a contender, extract the maximum pick package from Warriors. Yeah, I mean, I'm not against this per se. It's just Draymond getting traded just hurts. But even if you were to trade all the young talent or whatever, you have to trade Draymond or Jimmy just because of the contract situation. And we have a partial projected pick they owe to the Wizards 2030, so we still possess all of our future first rounders. If you were to do this trade, right, Steph Curry, who only has 3 years left, do you think, like, maximum, and even then, maybe 2 years of his peak, not counting this year? Actually, maybe counting this year, I don't know. But around that range, do you think a Draymond less Giannis, Jimmy, Steph team can get to a championship? I honestly don't know, because obviously on paper that sounds amazing, but the Draymond gets the defense gets pretty like compromised in my opinion if you do that. Because I mean Giannis is a DPOY, former DPOY, but I just think he's good at defending wing players and bigs sometimes, and then he's surprisingly pretty solid in terms of guarding guards. Draymond does all that really well, and obviously you have the chemistry between him and Steph, and Draymond can play make. You lose a very valuable playmaker. You have 0 playmakers on that team now besides like Steph. Steph and Draymond are both of your best playmakers with maybe some like help by like Pat Spencer or whatever, especially for these recent games. But again, your best playmakers were Steph and Draymond. Draymond's number 2. Jimmy doesn't really pass the ball too much. If anything, he passes the ball. He's too passive at times, but it doesn't actually lead to like, it's not actually quote unquote playmaking. Giannis is not that too. So now you have 2 non-playmakers and just Steph now. And obviously the offense is still going to be amazing because you have Giannis and Steph. But I just feel like losing playmaking is going to hurt a lot because the Warriors is so... The whole offense, motion offense of the Warriors is so reliant on passing and playmaking and making those quick decision plays, which I don't know if Giannis can really fit in that. Do I still think that the Warriors are going to be bad? No, I think, Steph and Giannis at both of their ages are still going to be really good. But I just think, is that really that good of a commitment to trade all your picks and Draymond for this? Like, I just don't know. Obviously, like, trading all these picks means that you're probably going to stay bad for a long time because the thing is, yes, we'll have Giannis for like maybe it's like 4 more years of his peak or 5 more years of his peak, which would lead us to like 2030, which is like where then these first 3 picks won't matter as much. But the thing is, who's going to guarantee that Giannis stays the way he is for that long? Obviously, like people like Steph can be as good as he is because he's more of a shooter, and shooters typically stay and have longevity versus people who are more athletic. And also Giannis gets injured a lot too. I mean, if anything, look at this calf strain out 4 weeks. This just happened like yesterday. I just don't think this is a commitment you want to make, honestly, even for the future, just because trading a lot of these picks is going to be bad. And I think you never know in these future years where you have these picks that the Bucks have right now of your own pick, where the Warriors end up in the same situation as the Bucks right now, where we don't do a good job building around Giannis and he gets mad and you have to trade him. So stuff like that is why I'm just not fully on board with it. Again, it's not like I would be mad if this trade goes down. Obviously I'll be sad if Draymond goes, but the thing is, I just still don't think it's worth that full commitment of these picks. So we'll see. We'll monitor it because obviously with the Warriors starting at 500 for the season, and pretty much has been after that good first week or 2 weeks of basketball, like they are probably going to look to make some kind of move. So that's why I'm just not going to be. That's why you still want to monitor the situation, there might be a chance that this all happens, but again, we'll have to wait. That was very long. Sorry about that, but let's just get into this game. 4 p.m. For this game, Warriors versus 76ers, local networks as always, and a lot of injuries for both teams. I mean, I feel like all teams have a lot of injuries now, but for us, Jimmy's out now, so let's see how long he's out for actually, because I haven't really fully followed what happened with this knee thing. Okay, he is day-to-day, so it's not like a terrible injury. So, but he will be out. Alex Hui out. QP's questionable. JK's questionable. Horford is. It says he's out here, but it's also questionable, so I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. There's no real news about Al Horford actually being out. He's still on that questionable tag, so we'll see. Yeah, and I don't know. I don't know about this game. We'll see. But let's see who has Philadelphia has injured. So Joel Embiid is upgraded to questionable, which typically means he might play. I mean, because the thing is, he's been injured, but honestly, he hasn't been playing that bad. I mean, again, for his standards, it's pretty bad, 20 points per game, but still like 45% from the field. And I mean, he's still actually, no, he's playing bad. The things I checked his stats like a week ago and it wasn't that bad, so I was like, oh, he's okay. But I mean, the thing is, his recent games are like solid. It's not like they're terrible. It's just noticeably his athleticism has dropped for sure. Because look at that, the rebounding numbers have been cut in half from his career. So Joel, obviously the thing is, he's still a decent, like, good player. So obviously if he misses a game, that'll be very beneficial to us. Paul George just came back and he's now out again. Kelly Oubre is out for a long time apparently, and Trent Watford too. But they still have Tyrese Maxey, so I would say the probability thing, especially if Jimmy doesn't end up playing, this is pretty accurate. Low as $9, man, dude. These like Eastern Conference, like Eastern State pricing is insane. $9, man, bro, that's crazy. So this is their roster. Let's look at their recent game, because obviously with all the injuries, they're not gonna have the same team. So they played against the Wizards and they won. They had Tyrese Maxey, BJ Edgecombe, Dominic Barlow, Paul George, obviously he's gonna be out, Andre Drummond, Justin Edwards, Jaron McCain, Adam Bona, Jabari Walker, Eric Gordon. And yeah, that's still a pretty good team though, even with Paul George being out. Because you still have Jaron McCain, Tyrese Maxey, and VJ Edgecombe as your backcourt is really nice. I mean, VJ Edgecombe has dropped down a bit, but he's still pretty solid. And their bench unit isn't the most terrible thing ever. Obviously, it's not amazing that you're playing Eric Gordon at his old self, playing 12 minutes a game, or 12 minutes in this game. Yeah, I mean, I think we still have a good chance of winning this game, but dude, they have Tyrese Maxey, and that guy, man, this guy has been cooking. Look at that, 32 points per game, and his career average is 20 points. So obviously locking him down is going to be super important for this game. But yeah, so Draymond is definitely going to have to play some defense on him, but he's not. So Melton, though, we'll see, because he is our defensive guard. We'll see how well he fares with his first game back against someone like Tyrese Maxey. In an ideal situation, he would be the guy that you put on Tyrese Maxey, but yeah. This is going to be their roster, though, so yeah. I mean, they're like middle of the pack on a lot of stats. They're the best blocking team in the NBA, which is kind of funny. Their defense is kind of bad because 12 and 3-point percentage is actually not bad. Or actually, no, that's their own. So they are a meh offensive team, but yeah, they are a good defensive team. 7th in opposing 3-point percentage and 14th in opposing 2-point percentage. Yeah, 20th in their own scoring. So they're not the best offensive team while their defense is pretty good. So playing around their defense and how well they do. I mean, 7th in steals is probably one of the reasons why. So you probably want to make sure you execute correctly, get yourself good-looking shots, and not rush shots too much and take consensus ones. And you're passing the ball, getting people open is going to be super important. They don't turn the ball over a crazy amount because they're 14th. We're pretty terrible. But they don't force that much either, so it's like, eh. There's a whole lot of meh with this team, honestly, what's in the team stats, but yeah. But they have Tyrese Maxey, so yeah. I think the X factor for this game might be, I would say Seth. I was gonna say Draymond, but you know, I already kind of talked about him. I'll just say Seth again, just because he proved he's a very good, valuable NBA rotational player during that last Thunder game. So I think, especially with him also playing against his former team, if he can like kind of pop off and do really good, I think we'll have a good game. And also, I just noticed Quentin Grimes was questionable apparently, but since when we looked over the injury report, he wasn't there. That means he's probably playing, right? Yeah, so that's that. But yeah, I think, you know, if Draymond plays good defense, obviously, but X Factor Big Seth giving us that 3-point shooting that we're not gonna have, because a lot of our players are injured and obviously Steph's not there, and give us that offense, especially with them being somewhat decent on their the 76ers being somewhat decent on their defense. I think Seth spreading the floor, giving us some extra points is going to be super crucial to the game. But yeah, I think that's going to be it. I think we'll have a decent chance at winning this game, but it's still going to be pretty hard. And yeah, that's going to be it. Thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't, and I will see you guys in the next video.